This lesson, we are getting into chapter 6, which is the individual deductions chapter. And this is going to talk mostly about the for AGI and from AGI deductions. I know we talked about this briefly in the chapter 4 introduction discussion, but we want to get a little bit more in depth in this chapter with the for AGI and from AGI deductions. So remember, AGI is our adjusted gross income. So we have our gross income, which we talked about last chapter, and now these are our deductions from that gross income. So the first part of this chapter, we are going to talk about our for AGI deductions, and these are going to be things like our business expenses. If we have a rental property, our rental expenses or our royalties, those are also going to be included in our for AGI deductions. So we have our gross income, then we have our for AGI deductions, and that brings us down to our adjusted gross income, our AGI. From that, we are going to take the from AGI deductions, and that's going to be either your itemized deductions or the standard deduction. So you will notice that the standard deduction amount changes each tax year. So you want to make sure that you keep up to date with which tax year we are talking about and make sure that you're using the correct amount for the standard deduction. And our itemized deduction rules often change as well. So whichever itemized deductions are allowed for that year, the percentages may change. So just be careful of what year you're working with and what those deductions are allowed as your from AGI deductions, either your itemized or your standard deduction. So things that are included in your itemized deductions, you'll see that medical expenses, taxes, interest, some charitable contributions, and then there's some miscellaneous deductions. Those may be included in your itemized deduction. If that itemized deduction amount ends up being greater than the standard deduction amount for the year, then you will want to itemize those deductions. But if it ends up being less, and with the recent tax changes, the standard deduction has been increased quite significantly. So many taxpayers are going to be using that standard deduction now. So again, just be very careful about what year we're talking about, so you make sure that you are following the correct rules as far as deductions go. And then finally, we will get into the QBI deduction, or qualified business income deduction. This is a fairly new concept, so you will want to look at the rules associated with that, and that will bring us down to our taxable income after we get these deductions done with this chapter. So this will be chapter 6, individual deductions. Good luck, and reach out if you have any questions.